Hello. I assume that most of you have seen the mockery of Nigeria on CNN. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen concerning our dear country. It's um, Farid Zakaria's show, and I mean, I saw it and I was just weak. I was just weak. The question that was asked was, and I'm going to quote the question. It says, "The head of state from which country has not set foot in his homeland in over 2 months?" Just imagine that. And then they gave, it was a multiple choice question, and then they gave four choices, and they said Syria, Saudi Arabia, Nigeria, or Cuba. And then eventually they chose Nigeria and just broadcast that to the whole world, making a mockery of Nigeria that's supposed to be the giant of Africa. I know this just the situation in which we found ourselves. This is just the situation in which we find ourselves. And see, one thing you have to understand is that your value as a Nigerian is tied to Nigeria. My value, I mean, as a Nigerian, I've been going out of the country since I was 9 years old. I've been a resident of California since when my parents first sent me here when I was 9. But it doesn't matter if I'm wherever I am. It's like when I was young, there was a song that Peter McIntosh sang, and he said that it doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you are an African. And it's the same thing with us now. It doesn't matter where you come from. You might have an American passport, you might have a British or UK passport or EU passport, but it doesn't matter. You're still a Nigerian. And your value is tied to Nigeria. And then when somebody begins to erode Nigeria's value, they are eroding you. I mean, you can just imagine that sort of ridiculous situation. And then in the midst of all this, what's so annoying is that Lai Mohammed keeps on shouting from the rooftops about fake news. And then meanwhile, this Buhari administration and the APC are the masters of fake news. And you know me, I don't talk without proving things. I speak with facts and figures. That's just the kind of person I am. I speak with facts and figures. Listen, I'll tell you. I think some APC apologists, they call them Buhari Media Center. They've been going about with a concocted story. One of them came on my Twitter timeline. I responded to him. If you go to my Twitter timeline, you see it there. And I think the story found its way on Blueprint. I believe it was sponsored. As a matter of fact, I'm more than believe, but let me just say I believe it was sponsored. And then they claimed that that Buhari has removed Nigeria from the top 10 corrupt nations. It was all over the place. It's just been all over the media. From there, they claim that President Muhammadu Buhari, by his efforts, Nigeria has been taken away from the top 10 most corrupt countries. And that is just a lie. And you see, that's the propaganda of this administration. Since 2014, Nigeria has not been in the top 10 most corrupt nations. Nigeria made her highest improvement on the Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index in 2014. In 2013, we were number 144. And then in 2014, we improved by 8 paces from 144 in 2013 to 136 in 2014. As I speak to you right now, since that time till now, Nigeria has not made any progress on Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index. So don't believe that story. That story is just a lie. It's a propaganda. It's fake news from the APC stable. It's completely fake news. I'm sure you must have seen it that President Muhammadu Buhari has improved Nigeria's anti-corruption corruption rating and removed Nigeria from the top 10 most corrupt countries. That's not true. As a matter of fact, don't take my word for it. What if I'm here and I'm deceiving you? Go to Transparency International's website. 3 days ago, I believe they released the 2016 Corruption Perception Index, and I'm going to read from it. I'm going to read from it so you can see it. I'm going to read from it. And now listen to this. This, I'm not giving my opinion. I'm actually reading. I'm quoting from Transparency International's Corruption Perception Index, and I'm going to quote it for you. Some other large African countries have failed to improve their scores on the index. These include South Africa, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Kenya. So Nigeria has not improved since 2014 when Jonathan made the highest improvements that we've ever had. We improved by 8 paces. 2014, we were 136. 2015, we were 136. 2016, we are 136. Because what happens is, like Transparency International, they release their corruption perception index in the current year for the previous year. So in 2015, they released 2014 ratings. So you need to see past the propaganda of this administration. For instance, I'll give you another example of their fake news and their propaganda. 24th December 2015, that's on Christmas Eve of 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari said that Boko Haram was technically, or rather is technically defeated. That's what he said. He said that they have lost their ability to carry out attacks. And that they are only reduced to just fringe attacks like suicide bombing and then bombing targets of opportunity. Now, of course, we know that's not true. That's not true. Boko Haram have not been defeated technically or realistically. They've not been defeated. Look, just last week, Boko Haram attacked an oil prospecting team at Lake Chad. They were prospecting for oil. President Muhammadu Buhari is so desperate to find oil in Lake Chad. I mean, I don't want to say more than that before I'm accused of dividing Nigeria, but he's desperate. He knows what he's looking for. And then sent an oil prospecting team to Lake Chad to look for oil if there was oil there, Shell and all these people would have gone there. But he sent people there. Boko Haram went and then they killed 69 people, including engineers from University of Maiduguri, including drivers from NNPC. Slaughtered them. Can you imagine that? Look, you see, all these things, it's just like their chickens are coming home to roost. All these, their propaganda. Look, I'd like to read to you some headlines. I just want to read to you some headlines. And these are headlines from after President Muhammad. In fact, all of them are from this year. Boko Haram attack on Lake Chad oil prospecting team, at least 69 killed. Just look at that. Boko Haram attacks military base, burns it. This was in April this year. They attacked a military base and they burned it. Now, I don't know if these are true. I'm quoting from the Nigerian papers. The Nigerian government has not repudiated them, so I mean, I just have to accept that they are true. You know, recently Boko Haram released pictures of some women. I think they said they were police women that they kidnapped in a police convoy. And just was it 3 days ago, they released videos of the oil men that they kidnapped at Lake Chad. So we need to expose these people for what they are. We need to expose them out of their desperation for power. They lied, they fooled Nigerians, they conned Nigerians. How did they fool Nigerians? I'll tell you. On April 27, 2016, President Muhammadu Buhari addressed the annual general conference of the Nigerian Medical Association. And then while there, he said that he was wrong, and he condemned public officials, civil servants, government officials. He condemned them going abroad for medical treatment. He said that it was wrong. He condemned it. Let me just read some headlines. I want to read some headlines after that event. I'm going to read the headlines to you. President Buhari stops overseas medical treatment for officials. That's from Nige.com. It's one of the #1 sites in Nigeria. I think it's actually in Nigeria, in the top 10 sites in Nigeria. FG stops funding overseas medical trips for officials. That's from Vanguard, the #1 site, the #1 newspaper online in Nigeria, and one of the top 3 newspapers in print. FG to stop funding foreign medical trips for officials. That's the Daily Independent. Now, just imagine that. Now, I am going to quote from a story from the Los Angeles Times. I'm going to quote from the story. I'm sure some of you will know the Los Angeles Times. The Los Angeles Times is a major paper. It's one of the biggest papers in the whole world. You know, and this is from the Los Angeles Times. I'm not quoting, I'm not giving my opinion. I'm not quoting from something I wrote. I'm quoting from the Los Angeles Times, and I'm going to read it to you. Now, you know, as a matter of fact, while I'm even talking to you, if you have your phones, you can go online and Google it. The title of the story is Nigerian President Disdains His Country's Best Hospital for Medical Care in Britain. So you can follow along, so you know I'm not deceiving you. You can follow along, and so you know I'm not deceiving you. Now, this is what the Los Angeles Times said, and I'm quoting them. The government upgraded the hospital, that's the State House hospital. The government upgraded the hospital in 2016 at a cost of $16 million, more than the total capital budget for Nigeria's 16 federal teaching hospitals. The hospital provides care for the president, vice president, their families, and staff. Now, just in 1 year, look at how much they spent on the Aso Rock clinic in 1 year, $16 million. That's for capital expenditure. This is not for, they said that the government upgraded the hospital, I'm quoting, the government upgraded the hospital in 2016 at a cost of $16 million. Just upgrade. I'm not talking about salaries of staff and all that. Upgrade. Now, after spending so much, I'm not quoting anymore, these are now my opinions. After spending so much money on the State House clinic, according to the Los Angeles Times, the president at public expense is in London attending a clinic there. This is the same man who on April 27, 2016 was condemning foreign medical treatment, was condemning it. Okay, we're paying for him, we're paying for his medical treatment. He's not paying for me from his own money. What business did the man have? We are paying for it. The Nigerian taxpayers are paying for it, of which I'm one. I've paid millions. In tax in Nigeria. We are paying for it. Do you know what we are paying for? Do I know what I'm paying for? John McCain, a U.S. senator, just last week it was announced that he was sick. Within 24 minutes, not 24 hours, within 24 minutes, the American public knew what was wrong with him. Do we know what is wrong with our president? We don't know. We don't deserve to know because he is special and we are useless people. We are just down there. He is an imperial majesty. We don't know what is wrong with him. Let me tell you that in December of 2009, Lai Mohammed, he complained and he said that the then PDP government must give hourly updates of then President Yar'Adua's health situation, and he insisted that Nigerians have a right to know what was wrong with the president. February 27th, President Muhammadu Buhari's special assistant on new media, Tolu Ogunlesi, he complained and he said that, after all, President Obama's medical health records are public. Why should President Yar'Adua's health record not be public? Why shouldn't Nigerians know about it? Go and Google it. Go and Google it and think if I'm lying. Go and Google it. Yet today, these people, first and foremost, they don't know what is wrong with the president because he would not tell them. And we don't know. These same people, on March 10, 2010, President Muhammadu Buhari excoriated President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, asked for him to be impeached, complained about him because he had gone away and he had gone out of the country for too long. Look at what the Financial Times said about our president. I'm going to quote them. The Financial Times of London. Look at what they called our president. Muhammadu Buhari, a frequent London resident. Look at that. A frequent London resident. Is that not an insult on all of us? Is that not an insult on all of us? What happens now to the 180 million ordinary Nigerians? What happens to them when they are sick? What happens to them? This was a man that was saying that, why should we as government officials, as foreign officials, go abroad for medical treatment when our people do not have access to good health care? Today, the man is there. Not only is he there, you are paying for it, I'm paying for it. And they are complaining about fake news. In his Al Jazeera interview, and again, you don't have to take my word. Go on YouTube. You can actually watch the interview yourself. You can actually watch him talking. In his Al Jazeera interview, this is what President Muhammadu Buhari said. I'm not giving my opinion. I'm quoting. Before the SSS will now say they are looking for me, I am quoting. If they don't like what I'm saying, they should go and arrest President Buhari. They should not arrest me. I'm quoting. This is what the president said. Beginning of quote. Nigeria cannot afford to allocate foreign exchange for those who decided to train their children outside the country. Look at that. I'll say it again. I'll read it again one more time. Nigeria cannot afford to allocate foreign exchange for those who decide to train their children outside the country. Just imagine the hypocrisy. Just imagine the hypocrisy. Imagine it. Here is a man who is currently using our own foreign exchange, not his own personal money, our own foreign exchange, to treat himself in London. His children are schooling in the UK. His own children are schooling in the UK. His children, the ones that have graduated, they graduated from the UK. Now, if his own children, let me just tell you something. You know the funniest thing? They said that former President Jonathan, was clueless. Are you aware that Jonathan gave you, as a Nigerian, foreign exchange to train your children in London or England or America, anywhere? Go, don't take my word for it. Go and find out. Google it or consult somebody at the central bank. President Jonathan gave all Nigerians access to foreign exchange without any limitation. It doesn't matter who you are. Not only did he do that, he said, if you make a first class, there was what they call PRESID, Presidential Scholarship for Innovation and Development. You get a scholarship from the federal government to go to any Ivy League school in the world to go and learn. But I'll tell you something that will shock you. Are you aware that while President Jonathan was sending the children of the poor abroad to go and study, was providing foreign exchange for Nigerians to study abroad and to go for medical treatment, President Jonathan's children were schooling in Nigeria. They were schooling in a school in Lagos. I don't want to mention the school or embarrass the school, but you can investigate it. His children were schooling in Nigeria. That is a man with fear of God. That is a man with fear of God. President Jonathan was attending the State House Clinic. He was going there. They knew him there. He was going there for treatment. This man who says that, and I'm going to read this word again, Nigeria cannot afford to allocate foreign exchange for those who decide to train their children outside the country. His own children, as he was making that statement, were in England studying. The man that made that statement, right now, he is in London spending your own foreign exchange on his own healthcare. Just imagine that. Just imagine that. Spent $16 million in 2016 on the State House Clinic. I don't know how much they spent this year. Just imagine that. And these are people that called Jonathan clueless. These are people. You see, Nigerians have learned the hard way that change does not necessarily mean progress. Change does not necessarily mean progress. What progress have we had? What progress have we had? You know, APC, the only thing that they've been saying about the president was that, at least he defeated Boko Haram. At least he defeated Boko Haram. Now we have found out that that is a big lie. Boko Haram have not been defeated. They are there. They are strong. They are still killing soldiers. They are still killing. They are still attacking military barracks. They are still burning them down. They are still attacking major targets. And then, what have they achieved in 2 years and 3 months? 2 years and, well, it's going to be 3 months in August, but let me just say 2 years and 2 months. I don't want to be like them and give wrong information. What have they achieved? The economy is in ruins. What have they achieved? What have they achieved? I was watching on one of these sites and I was surprised. They said President Buhari's photographer takes a picture with the First Lady's photographer. Can you imagine? We are in a recession. The president has 5 media aides. 5 media aides. Now he has his own personal photographer, which is now 6. And then his personal photographer, Google it, was taking a picture with the First Lady's personal photographer. So they have 2 separate photographers because they are not paying for it. They don't know the value of money. They don't know how to build. They're just there to eat and eat and eat. Look at Dangote. Dangote was the richest man in Africa, the 25th richest man in the whole world under Jonathan. Today, they have destroyed the economy. Dangote, that was worth $25 billion under Jonathan, is now worth less than half of that. He's now worth $12.4 billion. Less than half of what he was worth under Jonathan. And they called Jonathan clueless. They deceived you. They campaigned. They said that, okay, they were going to campaign on change. They said that they promised you restructuring. Now, the same APC that promised you restructuring, what they say? Google it. They say that they don't know what restructuring is. Can you imagine the insult? They are insulting your intelligence. During the campaign, they had a campaign billboard. And that I'm going to read from that billboard. That billboard said, is 206 naira to $1 okay? 206 naira to $1. Is it okay? That's what they asked. Is 206 naira to $1 okay? Today, how much is $1? How much is $1 today? They don't care. If they need money for healthcare, if they need money to travel, they get their public expense. Do they buy their fuel? Do they pay for their healthcare? Do they pay for their rent? They don't care about you. Jonathan cared about you. He cared about you. Look at northern Nigeria now. They just revealed that Nigeria has the highest out-of-school children rate in the whole world. 12 million children. The United Nations says 10.5, another figure says 12 million. Their own people. President Muhammadu Buhari is from northern Nigeria. How many schools has he built for these children who are out of school? How many schools has he built for them? Jonathan built 165 schools. They said that he was clueless. He hated the north. Okay, this man that lost the north, how many schools has he built for them? One he has not built. So look, don't be fooled by this administration. Don't be fooled by Lai Mohammed coming out. Lai Mohammed is just a lying old man. He's a shameless old man that has no shame, has no decorum, has no sense of propriety. He lies. Lies. These people are shameless. They just destroyed this country. Look at the economy that Jonathan handed over to them. The largest economy in Africa. The fourth fastest growing economy in the world. Give them a robust economy. Within 6 months, they destroyed that economy. So look, Nigerians, I'm telling you, we must remove this administration in 2019. Not through violence. I don't approve of violence or anything. No, democratically, we must remove. Get your voters card ready. Get your voters card ready. And except you like suffering, except maybe you are a masochist and you just like suffering. If you don't like suffering, if you do not like hypocrisy, if you do not like fake news, get rid of Lai Mohammed the liar. Get rid of President Muhammadu Buhari the hypocrite. Get rid of his gang of hypocritical people. I will tell you, the only thing good about this administration is acting President Yemi Osinbajo. Other than that, I cannot pick one good thing about this administration. I've said my bit. My conscience is free. I'm doing what my mind and my conscience is telling me to do. If all of us keep quiet because we are afraid of arrest, our country will just go down the drain. You know, we cannot be. Why is the black man so afraid? You keep on suffering and smiling. Why is the black man so afraid? They will arrest me, they will beat me, they will seize my property, and so what? What did Jesus Christ say in the Gospels? If you try to gain your life, you will lose it. If I die right now, I can give account to my Creator. We should not be so afraid. We should take our country back from this bunch of clueless people, hypocrites and all of them. But you know what? I've said my piece. It's now up to you and I. You know, go and prepare for this administration. Share this video. Make sure that people see it. Share this video. Let us know the hypocrisy of this administration. God bless you and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.